Welcome back to Car Snubs. I told you a few episodes back I was getting rid of my old daily driver, a 2015 Ford C-Max named Maxie, and I replaced it with this. I named it Marty. Marty the Mazda. It's a CX-5, a 2018 model, the Grand Touring, which at the time was the top of the line model. And I decided to go used over new because in this crazy car market, you can actually find some deals on a slightly used car, not so much on a new one. This particular version only has 26,000 miles. So over 5 years, the previous owner only put about 5,000 miles a year. Essentially a brand new car. I've had it for a month now, and I've added about 2,000 miles to that. So I'm gonna walk you through the car and give you my experience so far. Let's take a walk around the car. I just had it waxed up, so it's looking really good right now. Like I said, this is the Grand Touring package. That gets you these chrome accents all around. And the larger 19-inch rims, I believe the lower models get you 18s. But all these CX-5s look really good. I think they're the best looking car in this segment. And a testament to that would be, if you get a 2023, the brand new models, they look almost exactly the same. You know, why change a good thing? But I told you, I got a bargain on this. The dealer had this car listed back in October when they got it at $29,000. By the time I looked at it in December, it was down to $27,000. From there, I was able to negotiate it down to $24,000. So even Kelley Blue Book, which isn't exactly accurate in this market, had it at $26,500. So I think I got a pretty good deal on this car. Let's check out the back space while we're back here. Power liftgate, of course. Nice big trunk, especially for these compact SUVs, as they call them. You get a lot of space. I did just purchase this mat, $40 on eBay. I'll throw you guys a link if you want to check that out in the comments. Underneath you get spare tire, some tools, but a good place to be, lots of space and lots of room inside, which we'll take a look at as well. Let's move on to the interior of the car. I drove pretty much every SUV in this class, and the interior is what really sold me on making this purchase. The materials are just so much of a higher level than anything else in the class. Almost a borderline luxury car like an Acura or a Lexus, I would compare this to. Leather-like material, even if it's not real leather, I'm not totally sure. Wood or wood-like material, because that could be fake as well, but it looks really good. Power windows, power locks, power mirrors, some storage down here. And the Bose sound system, if you upgrade it to the Bose, I highly recommend it because it sounds great, better than any of the other cars that I tested. On the side, you have your power seats with 2 programmable settings for memory seats. The leather seats are actual leather if you get the Grand Touring. Below that, you get like a leatherette, or the base model, I believe, is just cloth seats. We'll head over here. You have your power liftgate here, traction control, lane keep assist, fuel, hood. Let's go inside here. You can check out the gauges. On the right, you'll see it says my driver door is open. Now we are shut. And you can see there, I just had a service done, so I don't need that for a while. But the left side and the middle gauges are actual analog gauges, which are harder and harder to find today. I appreciate a good gauge. I don't need everything digital. On the right side though, you have on the top is your engine temperature, on the bottom is your fuel gauge. Those are both digital, and everything else in between is programmable. As you can see here, that's your lane keep assist. You have a fuel till empty and trip odometers. Between 22 and 25 miles per gallon is what I'm getting, which isn't bad, but it's not amazing either. I'm used to getting 40 miles per gallon with my old hybrid, so that's been a tough pill to swallow. But for this size SUV and the performance you get, 25 is pretty acceptable. Steering wheel is leather wrapped, but I will tell you the centerpiece is a little cheap. They went a little cheap on that. But on the side, you got lots of stuff. Volume, skip tracks, you got your phone dials, you got your distance for your radar cruise control, everything you need in here too. The radar cruise control works great too. It's one of the best systems I've used. On the left side, you got your normal stuff, lights, auto lights, turn signals, windshield wipers. In the middle, the bane of my existence. This is a 2018, keep in mind, so it isn't the highest tech stuff. It does do pretty well. It's got lots of options to scroll through and lots of vehicle settings that you can change, which is nice. That's not my problem. My problem is once you start moving, you can't touch this thing anymore. Mazda has built in what they call for safety, you are not allowed to touch your screen past 5 miles per hour. Now, for anyone that thinks they have a hack for it, there is kind of a hack to get it to go past 5 miles per hour for you to be able to touch it. Unfortunately, my car is one software version too far where they actually removed that option. So I'm stuck with this. Now, it does have CarPlay. You do need to plug it in. And that's why I've got this clip right here. So you can drop a phone in here. It works out pretty slick, but you do have to run your ugly USB cable to it. But it was the best technology they had back in 2018. Most CarPlay is now wireless. Not a big deal. I do enjoy the CarPlay, but not being able to touch the screen is a little bit annoying. Now, the way to control the screen is through this center dial. You have a volume here and this center dial. Thankfully, Mazda was smart enough to not disable the touchscreen and make something that was junk and really slow, because this is very fast. You can hop through different options very quickly. And I will say you do get used to it somewhat, but there's still a few times I want to go back and touch my screen. In the center stack, you have your heated seats, 3 levels on each side. And this feature that I always thought was ridiculous, but now that I have it, I love it. Heated steering wheel. Yes, even in Southern California, the heated steering wheel is appreciated, at least in the winter. In the middle, you got your climate control, dual zone, anything you want in there. Works very well. On to the transmission. Now, one thing that is of significant note is a feature that this does not have. A CVT transmission. This is a regular automatic transmission, and that is a good thing because CVTs are almost universally less reliable. That last car I said I had, the CVT transmission in it went out at 98,000 miles, which is way too early for a modern car. So knock on, there's some wood, that this one lasts a little bit longer. This particular version is a 6-speed automatic transmission. It does let you hang out in the revs a little bit longer, which we'll see in the drive coming up. And you can also go into sport mode, which you will also see. Just 2 modes on this, regular and sport. It is a shiftable automatic transmission. You put it in drive, you go to manual mode like that, but there's no paddle shifters. So a little disappointing if you really want to do the shift it yourself thing. You got to go up and down like that. I don't really care. I used it one time and I was like, all right, I get it. I'm good. But one annoying thing about that though is if you're just driving and you like to hold on to the shifter like I do, sometimes you'll just bump it really easily. It really easily bumps. And one other feature that this car does not have, which is also a good thing, there is no auto start stop on this car. You'll usually find the button to turn that off or on in the center console on modern cars. No auto start stop on this car, which I think is a good thing because it's extremely annoying. But otherwise, you got your automatic parking brake there, your auto hold, which is pretty standard on a lot of cars now too, and the whole center stack to control your screen. Moving up top, you got your sunshade with extension on the side. Mirrors that light up. Hello. And speaking of mirrors, the rear view mirror, which comes with optional equipment, as you can see right here. Auto dimming mirrors on this one. You can turn that off or on. You'll see the light to turn it on. 1, 2, 3 HomeLink garage systems, which I thought was a little excessive, but I forgot that some houses use a single door for every garage. So 3 seems like a pretty good number. I still kick it old school with the clicker because I don't want to sort through this owner's manual. If you look at this, this is the biggest owner's manual I've ever seen. It's like those phone books you used to get in the 90s. So I can just imagine it's going to take hours for me to sort the garage, and I'm fine with just using the clicker. Otherwise, you got sunglass holder up here. You can control the door lights. Easy to find lights at night. I really like these. They're easy push and they're very large lights, so you don't have to fumble around at night to try to find those. This one does come equipped with the moonroof, with a sunshade if you'd like. Pretty standard. You push it up to vent it. You get a little air up there. And you can open it by pushing it backwards. Oh, just kidding. You actually gotta close the vent first, I guess, and then it opens. Hey, let there be light. I actually haven't used it much because the first month of owning this car, it's rained almost every single day. But I'm sure it'll get lots of use with the upcoming summer. Back seat, not a bad place to be. I will say my knees do touch the front seat. This seat is set to where I would normally drive it at. I'm 6'3", so I'm on the bigger side, but headroom is really great. One car that I enjoyed, but one thing that I couldn't justify buying it was the Toyota RAV4, the latest generation. With the sunroof installed, this car also has a sunroof. My head hit on the ceiling. Not the case here. And Mazda doesn't treat the backseat passengers like second-class citizens. A lot of cars now will use lesser materials in the back. These are exactly the same materials as the front seat. And the seat material is the same as well. And you'll see it's ventilated because both sides also has separate heat levels, just like the front seats as well. Cup holders, a little storage space, which is nice. Can't get a lot in there, but you do get 2 more USB chargers for the kids on YouTube, watching the phones and sucking the battery up. That folds in like this, and you also have a 60/40 rear folding seat. Under the hood is familiar territory for Mazda, their 2.5 liter V6 engine that they use in a lot of their vehicles, but that's a good thing because that means they've perfected it and they've added Sky Active technology, which is just a buzzy marketing term that really means nothing. 187 horsepower, 185 pound-feet of torque, and at 3,600 pounds, it means it's not the quickest vehicle on the block, but Mazda's done a little bit of tunes and some tricks to make it feel faster than it actually is, which you'll see on our upcoming drive. Now, the newer models come with a turbocharged version of this engine. The last couple of years, they introduced that. That'll bump it up to 250 horsepower and drop 2 seconds off your 0 to 60 time. Let's take Marty for a spin. I'll start it up. And we're rolling. Here we go. Now, in case you're curious why I went from a hybrid car to a gas engine SUV, first of all, the hybrid prices have gone wild with inflation and everything, and when gas spiked, the hybrids still haven't come down. So I figured I'd take the bite in gas mileage, and it would have been nice to have a little bit of ground clearance, because by no means am I taking this thing off-road anywhere, but I'm in the mountains of West LA a lot, so there are some treacherous, kind of steep little curves and ditches like this that I'm on right now. It got to the point where I had destroyed every single piece of trim underneath my car on the last one. So I figured being up a little bit higher could be nothing but a benefit. So here we are right now. This is normal mode. The traffic's pretty bad, at least for this road. I'm gonna pull off to the side and we'll let it clear out a little bit. And then I'll pop it in sport mode and you can get an idea of what that's like. But let's check out sport mode. Here we go. And the throttle in this car, if you ever own a BMW, I had an E46 BMW that had the same thing. When you pop it all the way down, it makes a little clicking noise, which will actually get the transmission to usually downshift depending on where it's at in the revs. As you can hear right now, pretty bumpy road right here, but it handles it very well. The ride is good, and it will let this thing rev. I'm at 4,500 RPM right now. It'll wait to shift the transmission and keep it higher in that rev range. So, like I said, the illusion that you're going faster than you actually are, although I'm gonna tell you, we might be a little bit above the speed limit right now, but the body roll is almost non-existent, especially for an SUV. This thing drives fantastic on the curves. I'm not gonna say it's a sports car, but for a regular car, it's pretty damn good. One disappointing thing about this car is the rear view camera. The resolution of it is very bad, but as you see, it does have cross traffic alert, especially nice in a busy parking lot like this, so you can see cars that are potentially coming from the side that you might not otherwise see. but I'm gonna look into actually upgrading the camera on this, and it is especially bad when it rains. Good luck seeing anything out the back. You gotta go old school and crank your head. Now, this particular car does not have the backup sensors either, so I find it especially important to have a good camera. I'm hoping it's a pretty cheap fix to swap that out for a higher resolution lens. So as I mentioned before, the tech isn't too far out of date. It does have CarPlay. You do have to plug it in to get CarPlay, but you get everything you need here. And I know I said the screen doesn't work, but that's only when you're not moving. So the car is on, it's in drive, and I'm not moving, so I can use the screen, which is great and everything. We can go back to the main menu or go back to CarPlay. I'll use the wheel. Honestly, the wheel might be faster. Look how quick that is compared to my hand. But regardless, you should still have the ability to touch the screen, but you don't. You can see the wheel go through here. I can touch the screen now, settings, whatever I want. But now that the car is moving again, going about 10 miles per hour, none of that works. Super, super frustrating. I can't do anything past 5 miles an hour. Nighttime is where the CX-5 really shines. I got it zoomed in a little bit. You can see in the middle it says 0 miles per hour. That is obviously my speed from the Mazda heads-up display. And you see that little stop sign icon in the top right? That's because obviously we're coming up on a stop sign. Pretty cool little feature for you to see that. And I want you to take a look at the beam of my headlight. This has adaptive headlights. I'm gonna keep going straight, but turn the wheel. Do you notice how the beam actually angles a little bit to the right to help me see around that corner better? And it'll move around, left, left, right. Really nice feature, because this not only just has good LED headlights, which you can see the auto high beam is on right now as well, but the adaptive headlights not only turn left and right, they also raise the angle up slightly higher above 60 miles per hour. So when you're going faster, you can see further down the road. That's a pretty cool feature. Some more information you can see on the heads-up display. In the top right is the actual speed limit on this road. And then on the left, you see my blind spot monitor. So I don't even have to look at my mirrors. I can essentially keep my eyes on the road and get every piece of information that is needed. And that is not all. There's also a following distance. I'm gonna see if I can get you that. We'll hop in behind a car here, and I think you'll be able to see that. See that icon to the left of my speed? That is your distance to someone else. Let's see if I can get the lane departure to go off here. You can see the 2 lanes on the left side. They're both white, and when you hit the center line like this, it should go red and push you back into the lane. All kinds of useful features on this heads-up display. I was skeptical about using it at first, but I've really grown to love it. I'd say by day 2, I was hooked, and it is adjustable. So no matter how tall or short you are, it could be at a different spot on the windshield. Someone who's shorter might not be able to see where I have it up higher. So that's a nice feature that you can adjust as well. Just another way to keep your eyes on the road. Mazda is not the first company you would think about when you think about safety, but I think this car has more safety features than something like a Subaru or Volvo, which is known for its safety features. Driving this car at night is truly a treat. Some final thoughts on the CX-5. I'm having a hard time getting any valid complaints beyond the touchscreen, and that's a good thing. I'm 1 month in, I put over 2,000 miles on the car, and I'm extremely happy with my purchase. I don't know that I could have found a better car for $25,000, even though it is slightly used, but at 26,000 miles, I don't foresee having any problems until 100,000 miles or more. It's a Japanese car. You usually think Honda, Toyota when you think of that. Mazda's probably last on that list. You got Nissan, you got Subaru. But Mazda has changed my mind about that. Take a look at Mazda if you're a person who needs a practical car but still enjoys your car. It's mind-blowing to me that there's so many people that don't care about how it drives. They just want to go point A to point B. I think Mazda has the total package here, and like I said, it still looks like a brand new car. This design is 7 years old now from when this body style came out, and the new ones look essentially exactly the same because they got it right. Everything is great. The drive systems, which usually hinder your driving experience, really just aid it. Most cars that I've driven recently, I turn a lot of those things off because they're annoying. But it's a pleasure to sit in traffic with this car. The radar cruise control is on point. You can use it as low as 10 miles per hour just creeping along in traffic. The car essentially drives for you at those times you don't want to drive. No one wants to drive in traffic. But when you're going fast, it leaves you alone and lets you do your thing and enjoy your car. Now, the interior level, like I said, is a step above anything else in this class. I don't know that I could be any more happier with the car at the money I spent. So I highly recommend the CX-5. I forgot to mention too that it is a safe car. So if you're worried about that, it's the only one in its class that got a full 5-star safety rating. Of course, it has all the other features of every other car, but it's just a little bit better at that as well. Just like everything else I found, it's just a little bit better. And I haven't had any problems with this so far. All I've done is a full synthetic oil change and tire rotation. If I have any problems with the car, the first place you're gonna find out is right here on Car Snubs YouTube. So make sure you comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time.